intuitive eating just does not work for me. Have you ever had this thought? Have you ever said this to yourself? Oh, I wish I can just eat intuitively, but it doesn't work for me. Every single time I try to eat intuitively, I spiral even more out of control with food. I'm way more uncomfortable in my own skin. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, if I just listened to what my intuition told me to eat, I would literally be eating sweets all the time. I'd be eating bread all the time, chocolate all the time, way too many sweets, and I'm just going to feel even worse in my own skin, and I'm already uncomfortable in my own skin. So that's just not going to work for me. I remember thinking intuitive eating did not work for me. And in 2017, this is when I was being so meticulous about tracking everything that I was consuming. I spent so many years of my life, 10 years of my life, following some type of rigid plan, whether it was tracking calories and macros. I did 21-day fixed portion containers. I tried intermittent fasting because the evenings, my binges were just horrible. I would always just binge or mindlessly stack in the evening. So I'm like, great, intermittent fasting is going to work because you just don't eat in the evenings. I tried keto. I tried carbs. I literally tried so many different things. And I got to a point where I was slowly starting to recognize that all these rules, all these restrictions were making me more impulsive with food. It was the reason that I was thinking about food 24/7, and it makes logical sense. If you're constantly focused on don't eat the chocolate, all you're going to think about is chocolate. If you're constantly thinking about you're not allowed to eat after 7 o'clock, what do you think you're going to think about after 7 o'clock? All you're going to be thinking about is eating. And when I was I was trying to do intermittent fasting and not eating after dinner, I remember just sitting with my partner on the couch and he'd pull out a snack and I would just so badly want to say F it and just eat. But there would be some nights where I'm like, just pull through, don't do it. And I would be sitting there, not even present, because all I would be thinking about is trying to not binge. And then there would be other days where I'm like, I actually don't even care about following this protocol. I would have a snack in the evenings, but because I felt like I was doing something wrong, I would just end up literally eating so much. I would be binging on bagels and cereals and cookies and brownies, just all the things. It wasn't just I'm just going to have a little bit of a snack. If I ate after 7 p.m. and I felt like I messed up, it was a full-blown binge, going to bed so full, so bloated, waking up the next morning still full from how much I ate the night before. So I recognize this is not helping me. And so I knew that I needed to let go of these rules and these restrictions, and I was so scared to eat intuitively. I was literally so terrified because logically it made no sense. If you're out of control with food, why are you going to let go of the tight rules and restrictions? You need more rules. You got to restrict more because you're so out of control. That's what I was thinking. You can't eat intuitively. First of all, you're going to spiral even more out of control. Second of all, you don't even know when you're hungry, when you're full. And third of all, you're just going to be eating chocolate and sweets all day long because if you just ate what your body wanted, that's all I actually wanted. But obviously, I was just so exhausted by these rules and tracking. And I remember there was one day where I thought to myself, I cannot track a single gram of food ever again. I'm burnt out. I'm exhausted. Food is just consuming too much of my day. Something has to change. And so I was like, okay, we're going to do this whole intuitive eating thing. And at the time, I was a personal trainer and a health coach, and there were so many thoughts in my mind, your body's going to change. Everybody else that I was following on social media was like dieting. So I felt like I was just going to let myself go and blow up like a balloon. And people are going to be like, oh, she doesn't care about her health anymore. Like there were so many thoughts inside of my mind. But I just knew in my heart, in my soul, something needs to change. So I said to myself, you're going to start intuitive eating. And I didn't know how to eat intuitively. I just thought it meant like, eat what you want. So I remember going to the grocery store and buying all of these foods because I was quote unquote allowed to eat them. I bought like these graham crackers, a bunch of cookies, a bunch of bagels, a bunch of cereal, a bunch of processed foods. And I'm like, you're not dieting anymore. You can eat it. You don't have to track a single thing. If you want a second bagel, go have a second bagel. If you want a brownie, go eat the brownie. And at first it was like so freeing because I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm out of jail. But I also felt like the floodgates just opened and I was spiraling even more out of control. My day looked like, for breakfast, it'd be like bagel and then cereal. And then later on, it'd be like another bagel, more cereal. And then it would be like banana bread and a cookie. And then later on, it'd be like dried mangoes. And I started to realize I didn't want to be eating like this. I felt so bloated. I felt worse in my own skin. I didn't even know, am I actually hungry or am I just eating this because I'm allowed? I don't know when I'm full. My hunger and my fullness cues were so out of whack. I was so disconnected from my body after spending so many years just on rules and restriction. And I had this thought of like, this isn't it. And it was so conflicting because I knew that like dieting and following rules and restrictions wasn't it either. Like that is the reason why I was binging. That was clear to me. But I can't just keep eating whatever I want. I'm going to blow up like a balloon. I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to feel even worse in my own skin. And I already feel uncomfortable in my own skin. I'm going to be even more bloated. This isn't going to work. And something clicked for me. I thought that this whole eating intuitively didn't work for me, but it wasn't that it didn't work for me. And it's maybe not that it didn't work for you. What I realized, I was not eating intuitively. I was doing a complete free-for-all. I was just eating whatever I wanted because I could. I was no longer dieting. I was no longer tracking. And I could have a bagel for breakfast and I could have a bagel for lunch. I could have cereal for breakfast and I could have a cereal for lunch. I didn't have to track the brownie. I didn't have to track the cookie. So just eat it. You're not dieting anymore. And I had this huge epiphany moment that I was not eating intuitively. I was eating whatever I wanted. Of course, you're going to feel uncomfortable in your own skin when there's not any boundaries. But it doesn't have to be one extreme to the other. It doesn't have to be rules and restrictions or free-for-all. And I recognize you still need to have boundaries. Boundaries out of self-love because you want to respect your body. I didn't want rules that gave me anxiety, but I also didn't want a free-for-all because that made me so uncomfortable in my own skin. And I recognize I still needed to have boundaries. I still needed to treat my body with respect. I still wanted to have nourishing foods because I wanted to have energy. I wanted to feel good in my body. And you don't have to go from one extreme to the other. And so I had this huge epiphany moment of, I don't want to follow traditional intuitive eating ways where eat whatever you want. Eat like permission to enjoy all foods. Like, yes, I wanted to get to a point where if my went over to my parents' house and my mom made pasta, I wanted to enjoy that pasta without having to bring my chicken and broccoli and be like, I can't have the pasta, or avoid adding oil to my salad. I wanted to just eat like a normal person, but I didn't want to just like permission to enjoy all foods, because I tried that and I felt like crap. And so this is where I focused on two things. One, boundaries instead of rules. So boundaries are created out of self-love because you respect yourself, right? So a boundary would be like, sure, like technically you can have bagels and cereal all day, but honestly, you're not feeling that good. So let's make a nourishing lunch. Okay, you had a bagel and cereal for breakfast. Let's add in some protein and some nutrients for your lunch. That is boundaries out of self-love, not out of punishment. Not because you have to. It's like you want to feel good. So I started focusing on boundaries versus rules. And then this is where I really developed freedom of choice, where I wanted to decide what to eat, how much to eat, without my urges choosing for me, or boredom choosing for me, or my emotions choosing for me. So when I was trying to eat intuitively, I didn't know, like my body didn't send me any signals because I was just so disconnected from my body. I didn't know, was I hungry? Was I just bored? Was I procrastinating a task? Like, did I just not want to do something? So I was just eating because to fill up the space. And I recognized that so often I wasn't choosing what to eat. My urges were forcing me to eat something. Boredom was forcing me to eat something, or stress or anxiety or procrastination was making me eat. And I didn't feel like I actually had a choice. And so this is where I really started focusing on freedom of choice, and where I started to be able to choose what to eat instead of feeling controlled by my urges, being like, F it, you don't even have a choice, you're home alone, just eat the whole pantry. And without boredom being like, well, you have nothing else to do, so just go into the pantry. And ultimately, this is really what I wanted for myself. I didn't want to just eat whatever I wanted, like the traditional intuitive eating way. I wanted to choose. I wanted to be able to eat these nourishing meals that made me feel really good without feeling restricted. And I wanted to be able to have something sweet because I've got a sweet tooth without spiraling out of control. So I truly didn't really follow the traditional intuitive eating formula or principles because they didn't relate to me. Intuitive eating says, eat whatever you want. Permission to enjoy all foods. But I didn't want that. I felt horrible. I felt horrible in my body. I felt like I couldn't eat intuitively. And I think what's so important is if you're trying to listen, when people say just listen to your body, just eat when you're hungry, just stop when you're full. But if you feel a disconnection between you and your body, you're not going to know that. People would tell me all the time, Lorna, just listen to your body. And I'm like, my body is not telling me anything. Literally, my body is not telling me anything. Oh, just eat when you're hungry. Just stop when you're full. Well, that would be nice, but I don't know when I'm hungry. I don't know when I'm full, or I know I'm full, but my body just says keep on eating. And so I needed to reconnect to my body. I couldn't just listen to it. I couldn't just eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. That makes sense logically, but I couldn't do that because for so many years of following other people, other rules, other diets, I felt disconnected from my body. And so if you feel like intuitive eating doesn't work for you, I so understand, and it honestly didn't really work for me either. And this is why I don't focus on traditional intuitive eating. What I teach, especially to my clients, is I teach you how to eat like a normal person. And that requires you to reconnect to your hunger and fullness so that you could be that person who, you can forget that food's even in the house. You can go to a restaurant and order what you want without looking at the menu ahead of time. But that comes through reconnecting to your body. You cannot skip this step. You can't skip reconnecting back to your body. And so many people miss this step, which is why intuitive eating feels like it doesn't work. You can't just listen to your body if your body's not telling you anything. So I went through this process of reconnecting back to my body. And by the way, there's actually 5 different types of hunger. So many people are like, just eat when you're hungry. Stop when you're full. Okay, but what type of hunger are you experiencing? There's not just physical hunger. There's 5 different types of hunger. There's mind hunger. There's habitual hunger. There is emotional hunger where you're not actually hungry for food. You're hungry for what the food's going to give you. So you have to understand a broader perspective than just eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. You have to understand a broader perspective than just listen to your body. For me, I had to literally clear out all of the noise from past diets and what this nutritionist told me and what this trainer told me, because if you don't clear that noise, you're going to be in your mind instead of your body. If you're constantly thinking, what's the right way to eat? Well, this person told me don't eat after 7 o'clock. Okay, well, this person told me if I'm having carbs for breakfast, don't eat carbs for lunch. If you're in your head, you can't hear your body. And your body holds the truth. Your body is what actually tells you whether you're experiencing physical hunger, emotional hunger, mind hunger. So you have to get into your body. But you can't get into your body if you're thinking about all the ways you're supposed to eat and how your nutritionist told you you're supposed to eat. So you have to clear that noise. And when you do this, actually listening to your body becomes so much easier because you can hear it. You can hear it. So I'm sharing this with you because I want to share that there is another way than just feeling like you have to go down the path of either eat intuitively and eat whatever you want and there's no rules and free for all, or rigid rules, restriction, you're constantly thinking about food. You don't have to go from one extreme to the other. There is a happy middle, which is eating normally, which is having freedom of choice where you actually get to decide. Not your urges, not boredom, not eating whatever the hell you want, not being consumed by food rules, where you actually get to decide what you want to eat. You get to make a decision of what actually sounds good because you're connected to your body. You're not boggled down by rules of how you're supposed to eat. And I am so fired up because this is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you how to do inside of Conquer 2.0. I don't teach the traditional eat intuitively, just listen to your body, la la land stuff, because again, if you've been dieting for so many years, you don't know how to read your body. You don't know when you're hungry. You don't know when you're full. So you have to have a process of how to reconnect to your hunger and fullness cues. And you have to learn how to quiet that noise so you can actually hear what your body is telling you so that you can eat like a normal person, so that you can be like one of my clients who's literally had this cake inside of her house for multiple weeks and she just remembered that it was even there and she had a slice and she's like, this is actually so sweet, I don't even want it. Like, you will get to a point where you are doing things with food you never thought was possible. You might think right now, I have no idea when I'm hungry. I can't stop when I'm full. Like, people who can like leave food on their plate, they must be like special unicorns. And then that's going to be you one day. And it's going to feel effortless. But there is absolutely a process to get there. And it's not just eat intuitively, eat whatever the hell you want, or follow these rules and restriction. I want to show you a different method so you can get back to truly eating like a normal person again. So inside of Conquer 2.0, this is a 6-month program, and it is designed to help you completely rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles so that you could effortlessly eat like a normal person. You know those people who, like, food is just like a part of their day? Like, it's not like they're not like thinking about food. It's not like the number one source of pleasure and joy in their life. It's just like, yeah, food tastes good and I enjoy food, but like also moving on with my day. Yeah, if I want a cookie, I'll have a cookie, but then I'm going back to work or I'm going back to spending time with my kids. Like, food is just a part of their day. It's not their whole day. I want to help you be able to do that. You have so much more mental space inside of your brain. You're more present, you're more grounded, and you actually get to decide what you want to eat, not your urges. You are in the driver's seat, not your urges demanding you to go into the pantry to finish off the chocolate. And not your restrict brain being like, can't eat this, nope, can't eat that, oh no, can't add oil, blah, 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 blah. It is so exhausting. You can absolutely get back to eating like a normal person again. And I am so excited to teach you this. It is all learnable. You can become a normal person again. You can eat like a normal person again. You're literally not broken. There's a way out. So we are kicking off as a group, obviously depending on when you're listening to this, but we're kicking off as a group on September 8th. So if you know you want support with this, if you're like, okay, this landed and this makes sense and I just want to eat normally again and I want to finally break free from the restrict binge cycle, you can message me, Conquer, for all the details. We are kicking off as a group on September 8th. Right now, there are founding member spots available where you're going to get in at the lowest price that it's ever going to be at, which is, it's literally an insane price point. Like, I need to be charging like 10 times more, but truly I'm at a point right now where I just want to help as many people as possible. So it is at a founding member's rate. And you're also getting bonus coaching with me, and you're also getting access to my program completely for free. My program that helps you actually trust yourself around trigger foods. So if you feel like as soon as I'm around breads, chocolate, sweets, I lose control, that is going to change when you get access to this bonus program when you join Conquer 2.0 right now. So if this sounds like you and you want more information, you want more details, you want to be able to go through this process with other people alongside you so you can stop feeling alone and you know exactly step by step what to do, this is the program for you. So you can message me, Conquer, and I will go ahead and send you all the details. It would be such an honor to support you, to guide you. You don't have to figure out how to do this on your own. It becomes so much easier when you have a process to follow. So you can message me, Conquer, and I'll send you all the details. I am excited to support you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'm rooting so hard for you. All right. Bye, badasses.